JamesMac Show on Shoreditch Radio.
Here on the JamesMac Show on Shoreditch Radio, we're all about great music, and today is absolutely no exception. One of the bands of the mid to late 90s that got me into music and wanting to play guitar was, of course, Redditch heroes Dodgy. And I'm so pleased to welcome to the JamesMac Show lead singer, songwriter, and all-round brilliant musician, Nigel Clark from Dodgy. Welcome,
hey,
Nigel.
Hello, mate. Thank you for that.
Absolute pleasure. You know, and I know you've been really busy recently, so it's been good trying to nail you down because you've been on tour, and I've noticed that you've even got a tour date in yours and my hometown of Redditch on the 10th of June, and I think that must be quite a special one for you.
Is it not? Is it the 10th? Bloody hell!
10th of June. Oh, time flies, man. Time flies.
It is the 10th of June. Is it that the one? It's a Wednesday in Headless Cross. I was born in Headless Cross.
I know. That's why I thought it might be quite special being back in that place.
It's really special. It's really special. I was 7 years old when I moved from Headless Cross to Lodge Park, and I didn't really. None of us kids wanted to move, and obviously we got on with it. But yeah, Headless Cross holds a very dear part in my heart. You know.
Oh, that's really cool. Love that.
All those childhood memories from like being 0 to 7, you know, and if you know Headless Cross, then I know Headless Cross up until about 1973 or 74.
Wow. It's not changed much, in fairness, in all those years.
They're building the Tesco's, apparently, aren't they, or something? They're building something somewhere.
We've definitely got a co-op. A nice new co-op.
There's a new one being built, I think, somewhere.
Littlewoods, at the top of Littlewoods, there's a nice new co-op that I've visited quite a few times. So
I remember a very old Redditch when we used to say, "Let's go downtown."
Wow, we used to say it in the kind of 80s and 90s as well. So,
downtown. Then when I lived in Lodge Park, it was uptown.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I love it. But yeah, that'd be cool. You should have a little walk around, see if you can spot any of the places you used to play when you were a kid. They're still there, some of them.
Definitely. I mean, I think the White Hart was one of the first places I ever had a pint.
Nice.
You know, at about 16 or something like that, you know. So
it's cool to go back there and play, especially after all the success you've had. And, you know, it's been a massive kind of impact, I would say, that Dodgy's had over the years. And I think it's fair to say that it still continues to have that, because I spoke to my daughter earlier, who's 13, and she said Staying Out for the Summer is one of her favourite songs, and I think maybe even she was a little bit more excited than I was when I told her that I was going to be chatting to you. Do you still kind of find songs like Staying Out for the Summer and Good Enough continue to connect with like new generations of fans?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Staying Out for the Summer was about me leaving Redditch, ironically. Okay. It was about me just... You know, I'd bought a house in Redditch. I was 19, which is ridiculous. Can you imagine nowadays? You know, unless you had a really wealthy parents, you wouldn't be able to do that. But you could do that back then. I had a job at Rover, and on paper and in my parents' eyes, I had everything going for me. Yeah. But in my eyes, I was totally going the wrong way. I didn't want any of it. So what I learned was, and that was where Staying Out for the Summer came from, was I learned what I didn't want, and that I could do whatever I wanted, which was not how I was brought up at school. But by the time I was 20, I was like, I can do whatever I want. I'm going to do this.
I love that. It's taken me to the age of 40 to work that one out. So you did well.
It was definitely a penny drop moment. 1988, I moved to London. Nice. And I sort of sold my house and went to America. I went to America actually with a couple of friends from Redditch. Wow. We travelled around America, down the east coast of America, from New York to Florida, and I came back and moved to London in the October with Matthew.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And kind of thinking back really to those days, and you know, the band forming. I've always loved the name Dodgy, especially if you're trying to search for it on the internet. Don't do it at work; it's a bad idea. But where did the name come from?
Well, it was a rather. We were called Colour Sonic. I actually noticed the other day we played the Bull and Gate on May the 15th, 1990. So what's that, 36 years ago, we played, and we were called Colour Sonic. So between that time and the end of must have been within weeks, we'd have changed our name to Dodgy.
Wow,
we were being sort of Andy Ross, who owned Food Records with David Belf, was a big fan of Colour Sonic, but they changed their names because they'd signed Blur, and Blur were called Seymour.
Okay.
And then Andy and David gave them the name Blur. And we were just worried that Andy and David would give us a name, and we wanted complete control. We were like the Clash fans, well, I was, and we wanted complete control. And so just one night we were out and about in London, and classic Redditch boy, we had magic mushrooms. And we took the tube back home, and by the time we got home, we were all going, oh, my stomach's really dodgy, and all this, and like, kind of stuff. And I had a moment, and I just went, why don't we call our band Dodgy?
That's brilliant.
And it was me, Matthew, and Chris. Chris is the Dodgy designer. He's designed our latest album. Yeah. And it was Matthew's brother, Chris. And we both just laughed. We all laughed at it. And we just started coming up with loads of ideas about having like a Dodgy, like a brand in itself, you know?
That's awesome.
So that was how it came about. And the next morning we all woke up, and I think Andy Ross called me the next day and was like, how's it going? I went, Andy, we've changed our name. And he's like, what? And we go, yeah, we're called Dodgy now. And he went, oh, I couldn't do work with you anymore. And it was just like, yeah, and we had to live with it. And it was almost like, in some ways, it was quite a crippling name to call your band. Do you know what I mean? To actually put self-depreciating. But I think that made us stronger. And I think I think that made us stronger in the end, long run.
I like it. I mean, there was like you say, Blur. There was a lot of bands of that era. Oasis, one word, just kind of.
Loads of them. There was exactly, Cast.
Yeah, brilliant. Or as I've heard them called on the radio, Cast. But we're from Redditch, so we say Cast, don't we?
They're called, and they're from Liverpool. It's Cast.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. all the London lot call them Cast. Yeah. So. Who would you say has kind of been the biggest influence on you musically over the years? Now, I know that Dodgy's first album, and that's kind of produced by Ian Brody of the Lightning Seeds, but did working with him kind of have any influence on the band's sound then, or moving forward, or how you approach songwriting?
Again, I think like life is. A lot of the time you learn from your mistakes and you learn from what you don't want. And I think that when we first started, I mean, I used to do a lot of 4-track demos, which is like a 4-track is like a Tascam Porter studio.
I used to use those when I first started out as well, don't worry.
And all those sort of things. And so I'd have a lot of demos. Well, I've still got demos on them, from songs. Cool. I've got all the songs on demos on 4-track. And... that was what was the question? I went off then on my. No,
that's right. It was kind of just understanding how when you work with Ian Brody, how the kind of he shaped your songwriting or the sound or.
Yeah, I think Ian was really good. He was always good advice for the songwriting because I did like the simplicity in his songs. I think Sense with Terry Hall when I heard that, or maybe it was Pure. I can't remember. It was one of them. Yeah. And I just really liked it. And the record company had said to us, you need a producer. And we'd gone, what? What's that? We kind of knew George Martin, but we just thought we were going to produce it ourselves. And we were just going to go in the studio and now we're going to bung 200 grand at a budget for us. We were just going to do it. But no, they have to have a safe pair of hands. So Ian Brody was a safe pair of hands. But he was very encouraging. The only problem is, I think, with the first album for me, where the songwriting is really good, and he helped us go, let's shorten this, let's do another chorus here, or knock this bit out, let's have this. Do you know what I mean? He was
just
really
the kind of tweaks, the little tweaks.
He'd had all that experience, and I think we benefited from that. Where personally, I don't think we benefited, as a songwriter, was the overall sound of the album. It felt very processed in a way when you put it against to something like Homegrown. And I think that was just
massively different. Homegrown.
I think there was quite a, like when we did that album in 92, the first album, 91, 92, I think it was. It was probably a different sound and a bit different level of. We were using Atari. The guy would be doing strings and horn sections and stuff like that on the Atari. Yeah. And obviously playing into a sampler, I don't know what it was at that time, probably an Akai or something like that, maybe. Yeah, it must have been. But it came out very differently. But yeah, I learned a lot off Ian, and he was always very helpful to me. He's a big fan of my songwriting, which was lovely.
That's
my
nice,
voice.
Yeah.
And so I mean, when I think back to it, I didn't know much back then. I didn't know much about what I was doing, and I didn't know where to put a capo or change key on stuff like that. No one had ever told me that.
and that's kind of first albums are always a massive learning experience, and I think that experience showed really in like you say second album, Homegrown, and subsequent albums as well. You know, just brilliant songs, and just absolute kind of standout songs like Staying Out for the Summer, obviously from Homegrown.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
Totally, thank you. I mean,
Brilliant.
It's what I do. It's not, you know, when I chose that life when I was 21, when I was living in Redditch, and, you know, I've tried to stick to it. I felt that the only thing that I've had was the decision of a 21-year-old to go follow your dreams, really. And I think that's the thing I've stuck closest to in my life, apart from my wife and my family. And it's like, so it's that kind of, you know, and it has come up a few times, you know, in my life that, you know, I felt like I had to choose between music or something else. And music's never, I've always said my music's not for sale, but I know it is, but it's not.
I know what you mean.
Like,
yeah. No, I love that. That's brilliant. And then this is a question that I ask everyone that comes on my show. Doesn't matter if they're, you know, fellow radio presenters, musicians, actors, comedians, the voice of Jet2 Holidays, doesn't matter. But if someone was going to make a movie of your life and your career so far, who would you want to play you and why? Head scratcher, that one.
I have thought about this before. Who did I want to play me and why? And I recently thought about it.
Oh, brilliant.
But I can't remember, of course. Who was it? I mean, let me have a think. Who want to play me? Someone funny.
I like that.
Definitely someone funny, because, I mean, you know, I do take what I do really seriously, but once I know I've got what I need, then it's time for a laugh and a party.
I like that.
Something like that. I mean, who would that be?
How about Will Ferrell? Because Will Ferrell's cool.
Will Ferrell, I kind of look like Will Ferrell a little bit.
That was kind of where I was going, but I didn't want to kind of push that bit too much.
No, but I've got curly hair like Will Ferrell, and I've seen Alf and gone, that's like me. It is Will Ferrell, because Will Ferrell's quite emotional as well. I think he's quite like, you know, he's quite childlike, and I think that sort of I think that would come out in. I think songwriting is quite a childlike profession.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, so I think so. Yeah, let's go Will Ferrell. I really like it.
Love it. I love that. And then if kind of music hadn't worked out and you hadn't had such massive success with Dodgy, what do you think you'd honestly be doing now? Would you? I mean, you said it earlier. Would you have stayed at Rover, for example? I know they're not around anymore, but.
This is the thing. I mean, my parents were telling me, I mean, I'm not dissing my parents, but they were telling me, you know, well, you've got a job for life there. And I was saying, I'm moving to London. And I was like, I don't think I have, you know. And, you know, I don't mean to prove them wrong, but I know, so, you know, a lot of people lost their jobs there. And they looked up to me amazingly, the people at Rover. I loved them. It was like a town. It was like a
absolutely
big
massive. Yeah.
It was amazing. I've got some really good memories. They've taught me a lot more at Rover than I learned at school about people and society.
Yeah.
Well, I think I do like putting my hands. I'm quite creative. I like spending time being creative. So I like art. I like videos, and I really like lighting. I've got 2 projectors here, and I've got like lots of lights and lots of
cool.
video synths over there. So I like to try and do visuals and stuff like that. So I'm really into that, and I've always been into glass and shiny things since I was a wee person, you know. So I think I'd probably do something like that. Although I also like carpentry.
Okay, cool.
I think there's a real craft and skill in carpentry. I think it's one of the oldest things, you know, and I just love that. I think, yeah. Understanding wood and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, I can do a bit of that. And I like buying new tools is like effects pedals for a guitar.
God, yeah, absolutely.
A multi-tool, it's like having a distortion pedal.
You've got to have all the gear, haven't you? Definitely, with whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
When you kind of look back over everything that you've done, you know, the records, the tours, the festivals, and all those little moments along the way, what for you kind of stands out as the most memorable moment?
I've done a load of memorable things. I mean, I think that's kind of where the film comes in. I've done quite a lot of memorable things, I think.
It would be great. Will Ferrell would certainly be.
I've got to write the screenplay.
You should do it. Yeah, do it.
And it's like, the most memorable thing. I suppose it was when I've got to put it down to one of the hard. Well, there's so many hard ladder rungs. I mean, the first rung of the ladder is you make your decision to do music. The second rung of the ladder is you get yourself signed. The third rung of the ladder is you get yourself an album. You get a song in the charts. The third one is you get a top 10. And it goes up like that until. I suppose until it stops, and it's not. And I never got to that point, really, because it was just like, by the time 28 came, I left. I left it all.
Yeah.
But my most memorable thing would probably be getting signed by a record company and knowing that was going to happen, and feeling that, because obviously, my parents weren't really behind the idea, and, there was always like this sort of this invisible time clock ticking, going, when are you going to give it up? When are you going to give up your dream?
He'll give it up soon. It won't work out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know that, and it was, I suppose, that because it just made me feel that,
It's like validation, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
Love it.
Totally.
Love it.
I think that would be my sort of, because that kicked it all off and it made it real, and then everything from then was sort of real anyway.
I like that. And then really kind of when people look back on Dodgy and your career in particular after Dodgy and then going back, what would be the thing that you would like to be most remembered for?
Well, I suppose within the band, I mean, me personally, I just bring all the ideas to the thing, and I like doing that. That's what I like doing. Weirdly, I'm sort of, I've had enough of the sun this week, but I always think about it. I think I'm probably. True. I did think a while ago that I was the noddy holder of summer.
Oh, I like that. But
I thought I was. It's
you can't knock noddy though for Christmas. If you're the noddy holder of summer, I love it.
It's like I just feel that when. I write a lot of songs during the winter, and because that's when I do it.
And you're dreaming about summer, and
I'm dreaming about it not being rainy or cold, and then when it does come, I'm like, God, it's a bit hot, isn't it? And I'm kind of allergic to the sun. I go in a rash. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. The irony. I write, summer hits, and I bloody hate it. If Noddy Holder didn't like the snow, then we'd be really onto something, wouldn't we?
That's it. I like that. We'll have to find that out maybe for another interview. Nigel, thank you so much for joining me today. Really, really appreciate it. And then if any of you would want to keep up with all of Nigel's upcoming tour dates and everything he's up to, then head over to Instagram and give him a follow. He's at Nigel_songs. And honestly, I'm so pleased to be able to say this on my own radio show. Here is the amazing new track, Hello Beautiful, from Dodgy, right here on the James Mac Show on your Shoreditch Radio.